Hi friends, welcome to Stay Stitching. My name is Carla and this is the second edition of A Curvy Girl Sews. I'm glad you're here. Now, a couple of things that I want to talk to you about this series is you don't necessarily have to be plus size to maybe learn from following me on my journey. If you have anything that sticks out anywhere, then you have curves that must be, adapted for, unless you happen to fall into the very narrow figure type that pattern company designs for. And so this could be useful for everyone. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is I'm not an expert. Okay, there are so many, and I will give you a list. I'll do a video about it sometime. There's so many experts on YouTube who can really show you what to do and how to do it. And they know what they are doing and they are experienced seamstresses. I am not. I sewed a little bit in my early marriage, and then I got into quilting, and then I got back into sewing 3 years ago. And I haven't really sewn anything advanced. I know how to put in a good zipper. I know how to do buttonholes, but things like neck facings sometimes, or weird collars sometimes still confuse me. And for whatever reason, waistbands just slay me. It's like, I don't get that. I just, I read the directions. So please don't come here because you're looking for an expert. Come here because you're looking for another woman who is working on her fitting and overall just sewing finesse, all different aspects of that. So anyway, I just wanted to say all that because I didn't want it to sound like I was going to teach you a bunch of stuff. I'm going to show you what I'm doing and what works and what hasn't worked. And so that's the best I can do. Beyond that, you're going to need to go to experts to find out more. So the first pattern that we're going to talk about for this series, and I showed you in the first one, is Vogue 8815. I have made view B. The first one I made was view B, but I put the back of view C on. It's just a longer back. And then the second one I made was view A, and I followed the pattern exactly. The next one I'm going to make is view C, and we'll talk about that another time probably. So let's have a look here at my pattern tissue, and let me walk you through what I did. So the first time when I made this one, this is the first one I made. This is view B with the back of view C. The back of view C does not have an additional peplum. It is just one long piece. Okay? And I really like this back. It's by far my favorite of the two that I've made. So I cut my first one out completely, I believe, in a size 24. So I cut this one out in a size 24. That was way too big. Look at this beautiful vintage button I put on the back. Isn't it cool? It's gorgeous. This is vintage thrifted fabric. I like to sew my first attempt in a pattern in an inexpensive fabric before I go to the good stuff. I buy only fabric that I like the looks of and that I would wear in public, and I do like this weird fabric, and I do wear it in public, and I get a lot of compliments on it. So it was too big, and I had to take it in. Let's see if this has been a while. It's been about 2 years since I took this in. Well, you can't tell. I must have recut the seams. See, these seams are pinked. The original seams were probably serged, and I went through and took them in and then pinked them. But this is a really simple make. This pattern calls for, it's got a bias neck binding, or neck facing, I guess that would be. This pattern calls for a zipper up the back, and I did not do that because I don't understand why patterns want zippers everywhere when you can easily get it over your head. That's just something that doesn't make sense to me. There might be some real reason for that. I will admit that this top does take a little bit of wiggling to get it over the girls, because this top is close fitting. It has these beautiful darts right here, and it has waist darts in the front. Okay, but once I get it over the girls, then it fits perfectly. Now, this was a little too short in the front, about 1 inch too short. And so I added an inch. And all I did to do that, and anyone can do this, guys. If you haven't done any pattern hacking at all, grading or anything, this is one thing you can do without fear. You won't get it wrong. You cut along the lengthen or shorten line, and then you spread it the amount that you want. I wanted 1 inch. So what I like to do, you can see if I lift this edge up, I like to draw, this one won't come up, but there's pencil line here and here. And I like to draw my, my line and then put the pattern piece on top so I can get it there perfectly. Now, this, what I'm using here, this is Easy Mask painting tape, and it has one sticky side. And so it's kind of easy to use for this. I will warn you though, you want to be careful when you put your pattern piece down, because if you get it wrong, there's really no redoing. So this top uses the tape adhesive, and then this bottom, I just used my own Scotch tape. And so that lowered this bodice 1 inch. And my second version, which is right here, this is version A, completely in its entirety, is here. And this waist is lowered 1 inch. Now, this is interesting because this is an example of me not necessarily doing what I'm telling you guys to do. There's going to be some overhead footage at the end of this video where I'm kind of talking you through what I'm supposed to be doing to cut this out. However, and this is just something I'm going to have to work on, I did all my measurements and figured out the size that I was going to make that would fit me. And you'll see that in that discussion. And I believe, if I'm correct, I should have cut a 16 out in the neck, and I fall between the 20 and the 22 in the waist, and then, come back here, a 26, which this pattern doesn't even go to, in the hips. Because the hips for this one, the biggest hip size is a 48, and mine are 50. Well, when it came time to actually cut the pattern out, I chickened out. I cut in the neck, this part of the neck, I cut a size 16, and I lowered it by 1 inch because this one is too high for me. I cannot tolerate anything this high. It needs, like this shirt, maybe this high would be the highest I could ever wear. Maybe about 1 inch higher than this. I'm super, I don't know. I'm a super diva about things touching or squeezing or anything uncomfortable. I can't handle it. So I lower a lot of necklines. So I did that. That I did right. Okay. And I made a notation on my pattern, lowered neck by 1 inch. All right. Then when I got to the shoulders, instead of going down to the 16, which I should have done, I only cut a 22. And the original, this one, I originally did in a 24. And it was way too big. And then I cut a 22 in the arm side, and I cut a 22 on the waist. Well, I should have taken pictures. I wonder, I'm going to check and see. I don't think we took pictures. I will get better at this series about helping you guys through my what I've done. But what happened when I put this top on, no surprise, the top part was way too big. From about my apex, no, even lower, from about my waist up was just way too big, especially the underneath the arms and going across here. Now, if you have a sharp eye, you will see there's a dart right there and a dart right there. Now I'm going to explain what my process was, and next time I will film it, I promise. And you'll get to see me with no makeup on and crazy hair and whatever, but I'll do it. I put it on and I showed Troy, and there were these giant arm flaps right here that just were huge. And Troy and I were looking at them. They went all the way into the arm side. And this is a sleeveless top. So I put it on. We talked about it. We talked about what I could do. I thought for a while about whether or not taking up the shoulder seams would fix the problem. And I thought about that because I'm going to be honest with you. I am always looking for an easy way out. It's a bad habit. I admit it. If there's an easier way to do something, I will do that. Now, some things I just like, an elevated method, and my hymns are, kind of that way. But I decided that what I remembered about fitting, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here, you guys. What I remembered about fitting, because I've watched a lot of stuff on it to try to get it percolating into my mind and making sense for me. And only after 3 years of sewing do I feel ready to start attempting to get things to fit well. And what I remember from pretty much any fitting article or video that I've ever seen was your wrinkles will point to the problem. And both of those wrinkles came from right here to here, pointing straight to my bust apex. And so what I decided, and those of you who know more than I do, and I think a lot of you who watch this are expert seamstresses, and maybe you're watching just, I don't know why you would watch this, but I know that many of you are better seamstresses than I am. So what I decided was that there was not enough room, or the girls were poking out, the top was too flat, and we needed to take up this in order to make this area of the top more three-dimensional. And you can see, even just holding it up, that it is three-dimensional. I mean, look there from the sides. It just kind of pokes right out there. So what I did is I put it on wrong side out, and I had Troy. All this is done with the bra that you're going to wear it with. That's one thing. Always remember to put on the undergarments that you're going to wear it with. I have lounge bras that I wear around the house, because why would you wear an underwire all around your house? So I always change out of that and put on one of my real bras every time I'm going to try something on or do anything with fitting or measuring. So a lot of you are younger than I am, but I've had 3 babies, nursed all 3 of them, and I'm 54 years old. So the girls aren't really actually up here all by themselves. I need a little help. And so to use a lounge bra, you could completely fit, you would have your apex like down here, would not be good. Put on the proper underwear. So I put it on, and Troy, you can still kind of see, you can see the drawing. This is where my apex was, these little X's, and he had a friction pin, and he was just drawing on it, and then I pinned it. I tried to get them to match the best I could, and I took it back to the sewing machine and I basted these in. And then I put the top back on. And the left one was right, correct. And the right one was not. And Troy looked and he said, the left one is good, the right one is not. So then I undid the right one, and I really painstakingly tried to copy them, you know, by laying them together and marking and making it, you know, as nearly perfect as I could. And then I, you know, basted that one in again and tried it on, and Troy said it was good. And so then I went back and put those darts in. So that's the first time that I have done anything to fix a garment other than take out, like let out or take in a seam. Those have been the only things I've done so far ever. Aside from doing things like putting in a keyhole opening where it calls for a zipper, because I just don't, no, I'm not doing that. And so I will do things like that because, you know, let's face it, I like to take the easy way out. Plus I have a lot of cool vintage buttons. But so that's really all I have to say about that. I do want to show you my hem. This is how I hem my garments. And I use vintage seam binding. You can find it at thrift stores. It usually runs about $1 a package, which is cheaper than what you would buy it for at Joann's. And I find that the vintage seam binding is better. It's less stiff. This is very soft and very malleable. And a funny thing about this particular one, I found this package and it had already been used. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, yeah, I think there's enough to do that seam. And so I kind of held it up and ran it around quickly and thought, yeah, that'll work. If there's not enough, I'll fix it. But there's a picture on my Instagram that actually shows there was about 2 inches. I didn't cut anything off. There was about 2 inches left. So that was perfect. And so I really am pleased with this. You'll see some silly footage of me in it. And Troy took some close-up pictures of the bust darts. I love this top. This one sticks out at the waist a lot because I stick out at the waist a lot. I used to be a 10-inch difference between bust and waist and hips. And I think as you age and going through menopause, that changes. My waist, even after I had the kids and I was not, thin, I still had the classic hourglass figure, and that has changed a lot. But it's okay. We're making do. And so that's this one. The next one I'm going to do is the long sleeve version. I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to try to follow the advice that you'll be seeing after this in my overhead video that I made of all my calculations. And I'm going to make it out of a Lucinda rayon cotton lawn, or is it just rayon lawn? It's in our store, and it's gorgeous. And it's navy blue with like a little bit of teal and aqua in it. And I'm going to make the long sleeve version, and I think it'll be ideal for fall and winter and even into spring, even though it's long sleeves, because it's rayon and it's lawn, so it's lightweight. And I think it'll be great throughout the winter months, because I'll wear a cardi over it when I'm cold, and since it's long sleeves, it won't bunch up under the cardi. And then if my classroom or wherever I am gets hot, I can take it off, and I won't have to worry about my fish belly white winter arms. And so I will update you on that one. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I don't think I'm going to put anything like a goodbye at the end of this video. It's just going to all be kind of mashed together. So bye guys. So when I'm trying to decide what size pattern to make, the first thing I do is take my measurements. As women, our measurements vary considerably. I'm a menopausal woman and my weight is currently going down after about a year of going way higher than I would ever have liked. But we're on our way down, so that's fantastic. So upper bust for anything with a bodice is a very important measurement. And my upper bust is 38 inches. My full bust is 43 inches. My waist is 40 inches. And the fullest part of my hips is 50 inches. Now, interestingly enough, for my figure, I can either measure at my most hated figure issue, and that's my tummy, and that's 50 inches, but also if I measure around my butt, then the fullest part of my fanny, that is also 50 inches. So this is my biggest measurement that I have to concern myself with for any kind of thing, that a top that is going to go down. I like to wear my tops just below crotch level. I know that it's fashionable to wear them higher, but I'm not comfortable with that because I have a tummy and I prefer to hide that. So if whatever I'm sewing, top or skirt, the largest part of the pattern needs to be able to cover my largest part, which is my hips. Now, if we take, and move to a pencil because I don't want to write on my pattern. If we take an actual pattern, this is Vogue 8815, and we look, let's start at the bust measurement, and let's go over to 43. Well, that would put me at about a 21, because it would be smack in the middle of size 20 and size 22. However, if we look at my upper bust, this is from armpit to armpit or arm crease to arm crease. Then that measures 38. That takes me all the way down here to a size 16. Okay, size 16 is what is going to fit my shoulders and across my chest and across my back, because I'm busty, but I'm not broad-shouldered. So I should be cutting out in this pattern, I should be cutting out a size 16. But if we get down here to the waist, we see, oh my goodness, there's a 10-inch difference. Look, I don't even technically fit into the 24, because my waist is 40. So I'm going to have to grade out considerably. And then the hip on here is 48. But do we have to worry about the hip in this pattern? No. Because this is a peplum pattern, we don't have to worry about the hip at all. Because this is a free flowing pattern over the hip. And so what I would need to do for right here is make a size 16. And then I would probably have to do a full bust adjustment, which I don't feel confident enough yet to show you guys how I would do it. I will get there. That's one of my goals with our Curvy Girl series. But this pattern also has these waist starts coming up to the bust, and so that helps with your making room here in the bust, because you could you could stop this dart wherever you needed to in order to give enough room up here for the girls. And so I would be a size 16 here, and then I would be a size, what did we say, 21 here, and a size 26 here. So that's a pretty substantial difference. But when you're looking at a pattern, especially one like this that has simple lines, I would need to put the sleeves on here in a size 16, because that's what size I'm going to want my arm size. I would do a full biceps adjustment here. And that I would show you guys, except that I'm making view A, so I don't have that. But I do know how to do this, and I would feel confident showing you. So I will show you that sometime soon. But if you go back here and look at these line drawings, you see that there's a lot of straight stuff going on here. You don't have to worry too much about grading out on a pattern like this, because these are straight lines, you guys, so it's easy to grade out. Here's your, your pattern piece. This is already cut out. Isn't that pretty fabric? I thought it was perfect for fall. So you would just need to add additional here. I did not do that because I don't need additional in the hip. I only needed it in the waist. Now let me show you something that I did do, because I've already sewn this pattern. I have made this view with this peplum on it, and I love this peplum. I kind of want to make add this peplum to the long sleeve and to the sleeveless. Right now I'm making straight view A because I think this will be cute under cardigans. And because it's 100% cotton, I can wear it year round. It'll still be cute in the spring and summer. I've already made this, so I knew that this pattern was too short for me. It does not look like it in these line drawings, but this has a raised waist. Now, I did not do a full bust adjustment on this because the first time I made this was, it's been at least a year. No, I'm going to say it's been 3 years probably since I made this, or 2.5 years. And I didn't even know what a full bust adjustment was back then. But, so I didn't do that, and I have the top and it fits, and I like the way it fits. But what I did know is that I wanted to lengthen it. So I cut across on the lengthen and shorten line, and I added about 1 inch. What did I add? I added 1 inch on that and did the same thing on the back pattern piece.
We're going. "30 years of this silliness."
Doing? Meow. coming to hang out with us? Let's see if he'll let me pick him up. He'll let me catch him.